Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Diet Cast. I am Russell-san, and with me I have...
Fishman.
When last we left off, Aquans and Jonas had just returned from their very long excursion on the Isle of Fog. In need of a great deal of rest after such an experience, they decided to take some time off in the city of Lyria and take some preparation time. That was their main idea. However, several things popped up that suddenly decided that needed their attention relatively quickly. The first of which was apparently a surprise lecture which was sprung on them relatively quickly by a member of the Academy. They managed to get through that with relative ease. However, they also confided in the Archmage on some of their discoveries they found in the Isle of Fog off the record. Notably, the fact that another individual besides themselves was there, under the orders of a mysterious individual who was responsible for the siphoning crystal found in the depths below Lyria, which had been responsible for the bizarre cat-like specter siphoning the life force off of local children, which they put an end to.
Yes.
In addition to this, Bree Tealeaf resurfaced inside the walled city of Lyria for the first time, making it clear that not only had she not gone off with her busker friends who had left by this point to do the festival having ended, but that she was up to something else, that she was not willing to confide in them, which also struck as unusual.
Yes. Kind of hard to lie to someone who's known you their entire lives.
And thirdly, as if this was not enough, apparently a string of recent break-ins outside the city walls was called upon to their attention. It became clear that a creature capable of shape-shifting, flight, and incredible feats of strength was responsible for these robberies and stealing gems and eating cattle. And the party began to come to a specific conclusion, which was only expedited when a ship they discovered was struck down by lightning in a mysterious attack. All the factors pointed together to the evidence of the existence of a blue dragon, one of substantial age and power, on the prowl along Lyria's coast, just adding to the other list of problems that the party would need to attend to in the coming days.
Just a minor concern.
Just a dragon.
That's all.
And that's basically everything of note that happened last time. We were in the middle of our downtime and preparations. We still have a bit more to go, and we're going to be finishing that up in a moment. So, just before we get into the main meat of the story. So, as we wake up on the following morning after our previous encounter with the sinking ship and the electrical burned victim, we wake up. I get two new portents. Is there anything you want to do?
Oh, there's a whole pile of things I want to do. There's a couple scrolls I'd like to make still. Most of that I got done last time.
I think I'm caught up on my scroll making for the moment.
I would like to go and chat with, what's his name here? Written down here somewhere. Dane Silverstone. That's who I want to go talk to.
So he's the dwarf on the faculty, basically, council, that runs the Arcane Forge at the Academy.
Yeah, that's his little notice caught my attention. I would like to go and see what the process is. Actually, when we first get up and have breakfast, that's probably what I'm going to broach to you. That's the thing I'd like to do the most.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not going to take too long. I do want to make a scroll or two today. Well, sorry, a scroll today. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of scrolls I'd like to make all together.
All right. So we're going to have breakfast. Another thing that obviously is going to be happening relatively soon is at least one of the enchanted daggers, if not both, will be done relatively shortly, depending on
Oh,
what
yeah,
Rosemary's going on about that. So we can look into
yeah.
that.
I would like to check in to see if she's gotten any new, um, well, potion ingredients mostly.
Yes.
Oh, the other thing we should do is this is going to take some time. All this downtime,
Yeah.
we should write off the gold for 3 weeks worth of stay at the inn.
Okay.
I don't remember what it cost now. You? It was not cheap.
It was, I think it was about 5 silver for room and board for a day.
a night. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's for the full day.
Yeah. Okay. So times 21.
Times 21. Okay. That.
What was it? 20 gold per. Sorry,
It's
20 silver per
10
gold.
silver per gold. Yes.
Yeah, so it's still like really. This is really. Yeah. It's amazing to say that this is really cheap, but yeah, that's only. Well, this we'll mark off 3 gold to you, 3 gold me, and we'll cover any extra meals we want to go. That's not really even going to scratch the surface of what we have. But that'll allow for a little extra eating here and there if we see something we want to nibble on. I know certainly when I travel and you're walking around, sometimes you'll see a stall with something and you just get the munchies kind of thing and have something to
Yes.
eat. So yeah. Anyway. Uh Dane and then Rosemary, I guess.
All right. So we want to head towards the academy then.
Yes. And one thing I want to keep an eye out for, and I'm going to have my owl on my shoulder the entire time because she sometimes is difficult to spot. I want to keep my eye open for Bree, who was skulking around yesterday. So
right.
I want to see if she's still prowling here and there.
All right. You can make your perception check if you want.
Dirty 20.
All right. So as we're on our way towards the inner city and the academy, your owl's on watch, and you do not see any sign of Bree Tea Leaf.
All right. Okay.
All right.
I have to go and hunt her down sometime today or maybe tomorrow. Soon.
Okay.
Confront a little bit more.
Confront her a little more.
Yeah. Just a little. All right. First things first, go talk to Dane.
All right. So we enter the academy, and we know the building that the Arcane Forge is set up in.
Yep.
And we send basically ask someone to send word to.
We do.
Yeah, basically, it's the process we go through to Dane, and he comes out to speak to us because apparently it
just can't go in.
He likes to keep the forge in relatively tip-top shape, so he doesn't like unnecessary people wandering in.
Okay.
He says, so is there's something you wish to discuss with me? He says.
Yes, we were at the academy getting our tour the other day, and I saw your notice about possibly well, you have an experiment going on involving melding magic items, and I'd like to know a little bit more about it.
Yes, he says there is an experimental procedure which involves the metallurgical binding of arcane materials, specifically metals. He says, and we're currently experimenting a way of possibly strengthening existing magical items through this process. So it is highly experimental still at the point. However, it says the potential of such an experiment could be groundbreaking.
How much success have you had?
Not much. So we haven't had many people coming forward yet. This is still a relatively new process.
Okay. I have 2 +1 rings of protection.
It says, relatively standard adventuring gear, I believe.
Yeah, kind of indispensable to me, but if you are moderately convinced that you can succeed at melding them together,
Yes.
what
Well,
was the
I've been
process?
working with the forge since we put it together. He says, I definitely know the ins and outs of it. He says, however, this is still a relatively experimental process.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not irreplaceable. Can you
No,
acquire?
and I'm sure if you were willing to assist with the academy with its this experiment, if should anything go wrong, I'm sure the academy would be willing to reimburse you.
What? I look over to my augur, you, and is today a good day for this?
Eh,
Eh?
is my response.
Well, I thank Dane for his time.
Yeah.
In the next few days, we'll probably be back. I have to think about this. Obviously, it is not a thing to be taken too lightly. They are a good backbone of my ability to protect myself.
Yeah.
But what kind of notice do you need?
He says, well, probably only a few hours to get everything
All right,
prepared. Because
cool.
mostly we'll just be clearing backlog, mostly just ensuring the fact that we'll be setting time aside for the experiment.
All right. So sometime in the next few days, early in the morning, I'll come by and let you know. And then hopefully we'll get this done.
All right. He heads back inside.
All right. And I thank him for his time before he leaves.
Yeah.
All right. Off to Rosemary's.
All right. So we go to Rosemary's Time and Clockwork.
Yeah.
All right. And it's going to. Oh. As we enter, she says, "Oh, I was going to send a messenger for the two of you." She says, "Your blades are done."
Excellent. Let's have a look.
She takes out a, admittedly large for her,
Yeah.
basically ornate case, and flips the lid up, and there are two, well, basically daggers that look almost as though they're made of a silvery metal with runes on them, and there's they're relatively simple looking scabbards beside them. These are well made, but they're clearly not ornate.
I don't need ornate. I need functional.
No.
All right.
And these do look to be quite fair by comparison to other daggers that we've seen.
All right. I take one scabbard.
Yeah.
Hook it up to my belt.
Yeah, I'll do the same. Needless to say, we already paid for these, so we're free to take them now. Yeah, when we commissioned their crafting.
And I have a couple of questions for her while we have her here.
All right.
One is, do you have any mandrake root in?
He goes, "No, I'm fresh out of the moment."
The other thing is,
From a natural 20 to a natural 1, by the way, for those two rolls.
the other thing, I would like to negotiate terms with you for the location for that Hydra's lair.
Says you wish to. All right, you want to do that now?
Yes, while we're here.
All right.
I mean, we're going to be coming back. I mean, I need that mandrake root, so. Oh, by the way, keep that in mind for the future. If you have a chance to buy a little extra mandrake root, I'm in the market.
Just yes. She says, "Well, because obviously I know the last known location of my former suppliers of the Hydra of my former supplier, or knew of." She says, "I know of its location." She says, "I'm willing to share it for you in exchange for basically a split of the Hydra salts that will be being produced from the shed skims."
So 50-50?
That does seem fair?
Works for me.
Yeah. If you need a bit of a monetary reward as well for your time and effort, we can discuss that. You are all potentially risking your lives here.
You can give a discount on something later on if you like, but I'm not really interested in money. Hey, if you can find a little extra in the way of mandrake root, I'll take that. Not to sound like a broken record.
Not quite there yet.
All right. We can work something out. That's fine.
Yes.
Not really interested in money, but I am always interested in ingredients and paper and ink and stuff. So it all comes down to the same thing in the end, anyway.
Right.
So I assume I pull up my map and she's going to mark a spot on it.
Yes, she does mark the map.
Cool. We'll worry about that another time.
She speaks up, says, "Have you heard anything about these recent robberies or break-ins that have been occurring lately?"
We have investigated one of them.
She says, "There seems to be a few of them going on at the moment." She says, "The watch is a little baffled because they seem to be almost being done by two completely separate groups."
Interesting. Well, we know of the only ones that we know of occurred outside the city walls.
She said,
"Are you aware of ones that occurred inside the city walls?"
She says, "No, not yet. They've all been occurring outside the city at the moment, which is why the watch is only getting to it now. But this seems to be a little odd." She says, "One set of them seems to just be literal breaking and entering, as in there's usually quite a fair bit of damage afterwards. And the other orders seem to be, well, almost done by professionals."
Yes.
Because I'm obviously a little concerned about this, as my own business might be hit. However, my security measures are slightly better than everyone else's. She looks over towards the large stone statue that sits in the corner of her shop.
I'm sure he could provide a great deal of protection. Yes. Don't worry, we're
well,
this.
When you're only a foot tall, people think they can take advantage of you.
No, that's not us. We like you.
All right. Is that everything?
Yeah, thank you for your time. We'll keep you up to right for the moment. We have a few things we have left to do before we can leave the city and go get that Hydra skin. But we'll definitely, before we head out, we'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. So we leave, and I say, "Yes, who knows what is going on with this dragon at the moment," after we leave.
Actually, now that the way she was talking, that sounds very Bree like.
The second set, you mean?
Yeah, pop in, get what they want, pop out, leave no traces.
She's up to something. We know that.
Yeah, that really sounds like her signature. We need to look her up.
Well, we don't know where she's staying. That's the problem.
Don't need to. We know her. Basically,
yes. I can find her.
Yes.
Well,
there's no way she can hide from us.
Yes. Well, there's one problem with using locate creature to try and find her. We are surrounded by running water.
All we have to do is leave the city.
The spell will work inside the city walls, but it won't reach the outskirts of here because of how the spell works.
Yeah. I want to know also, do you have detect thoughts prepared?
I do not. I have not been preparing that for some time. We've been wandering in the wilderness. It hasn't come up.
Yeah, that's something we're going to need to do because there's something going on for sure. Why don't we not worry about this today then?
Okay.
Go back to our inn. There's a scroll I want to put together anyway. And then tomorrow we can look into this.
All right.
I don't think it's imminent.
But something's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, locate creature, locate object, detect thoughts. Because something's going on.
All right. Well, problem with that is my current spell list is quite good. So rather than prepare detect thoughts, I think I'm just going to make a scroll of it because I still have room in my scroll case. Not much, but I can.
All right, it's up to you.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'm going to use a portent for this, which was the highest was a 16. Like I said, might have helped with the forge process, but who knows?
And I, on the other hand, am going to make a scroll of something I haven't prepared in a very, very long time. I want to make a scroll of dragon's breath.
Has the possible proximity of an actual dragon inspired you?
No, I'm just trying to. Like I said, there's some spells. Well, we required all those scrolls on the island,
Yes.
and just trying to fill in some gaps that just haven't bothered in a long time. Anyway, it's also easy to make.
Yep.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think I have enhanced ability prepared today. Nope. Straight roll.
Okay.
1 luck point. Not a problem.
It's only a second level spell, so it's DC 12.
Yeah.
And you get to add your intelligence modifier to it.
Yeah, I know. That's just the first number was a 3.
Yes. All right, so we're going to make those scrolls. They only
Yep.
take a short period of time because both of those scrolls are second level and both are in our schools.
Yeah. So yeah, this, like I said, I just wanted to. I haven't used it in so long.
Okay.
I just want. It's just something I'm noticed a couple of times where we didn't have bonus action things, and it's just nice to be able to do that every now and then.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So if that's all we're doing for today, we'll be moving on to the next day.
Yeah, because the 2 things I want to do require you having those spells prepared. So,
well, I have a detect thoughts scroll prepared, and the other spells I have fine for. So,
all right,
well, fine. All right.
would today be a better day to go talk to Dane?
So we wake up in the morning. You're relying on my portents for how forecasting the events of the day. I said, I think today is somewhat better.
Somewhat better.
Yes, it is better than yesterday. Could be better. Still,
Slightly better or a lot better?
fairly better, I think. It's not an easy thing to quantify.
True. In other words, it's not a natural 20.
No, it's close.
All right. I want to do this.
All right then.
Go talk to Dane. All right.
All right, so we stop by early in the morning.
Yep.
And we give word to that, and he instructs us to come back around noon, and we'll set the process in motion.
Cool.
So he's going to basically use that time to get all the other projects that are currently in works done and off the books, so he can clear time for that.
Cool.
So that gives us about 4 hours. Is there anything you want to do in that time?
I want to have a look for Bree.
All right. So, are you going to, as in, just look around with your owl to start with?
Yeah, that's how we're going to start this because, well,
okay.
It's easy to do. 18.
You do spot her inside the city.
Oh.
Yeah. Outside the inner ring. However, with that roll, you can spot the fact, and she seems to be basically just, basically sitting at amounts to a local cafe, like a patio area. at a table with drink and some. It looks like she's just finished a meal, or probably breakfast, but is looking quite intently at one of the 4 gates that lead into the inner ring of the city.
He is definitely scoping things out, I get from her body language.
You can roll an insight check if you want.
Do I get advantage because I've known her all her life?
Sure.
Insight is wisdom?
Yes.
17.
That is definitely her intent, you believe.
You spotted us?
No, we haven't left the inner city yet, so we're in the academy. So your owl is. Just gonna see if she spots your owl.
Should I roll stealth for my owl?
Yes.
Ugh, that's terrible. 8.
8. Probably would just be her. Let's see.
Under passive.
You think she might spot your owl, but does she
Yeah.
react to this at all? No. She sees an owl. She might be able to tell it's yours.
There's a lot of familiars in this place.
Yeah. So who knows? She doesn't seem to be too perturbed by any of this.
All right. I think we should go. I think we should try and quietly approach her.
All right, you want to do this stealthily. I'm just going to point
Not overtly, like we're not going sneaking from shadow to shadow kind of thing. We're just going to be relatively quiet about this.
So it's not the fact it's a stealth check, just the fact that it's a stealth check.
Exactly.
Yes.
Try not to be obviously.
We're going to be stealthy in a different sense of the word. I do have the scroll detect thoughts prepared. You do know the spell only lasts a minute since our previous time of casting it.
Yeah.
So we have to get relatively close. Actually, I have to be within 30 feet of her.
Yeah. All right. Stealth check.
All right, stealth check. Good news is I'm now proficient to that thanks to my skill feat.
Yep. Doesn't help when you roll a 2, though.
All right. I rolled a 17.
And I rolled a 2 plus 5, I guess it is. So 7.
7. All right, so 7 and 17 average out to be around 12.
Yeah, it's above 10 anyway.
It's above 10. Bree is not really on the lookout for anyone at the moment, so
we just blend into the crowd then?
Not as conspicuously as you would have hoped, but for the moment it seems to be fine.
All right. She's still just focusing on the gate.
I'm gonna roll for that now. See if she's. All right. As we're approaching the cafe that you spotted,
yep,
she's taking money out and clearly paying for her bill at the moment and getting ready to leave. You think?
All right, I'm going to forego this. I'm going to have whisper to you, just continue around, get behind her if you can, as unobtrusively as possible, and I'm just going to go up and say hi.
All right. I assume you're going to want me to cast the scroll before I show up.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go up and say, hi, Bree, how's it going?
I'm going to roll stealth. I guess with advantage from your assistance. You're distracting her?
I'm trying to distract her from the opposite direction, yes.
Oh, all right. That'll be good for advantage. Oh, that's pretty good. 24.
All right.
You lose track of me.
Yep, you lose track of you. All right. Hey,
So
Bree.
you go up to Bree.
I give her a big hug, because I always do.
Yep. She, before you get up to her, she almost jumps at the sight of you, and then you grab her, give her a big hug. But you definitely took her by surprise when that.
How's it going? What's you up to?
Good. She says, I didn't expect to see you here.
Oh, this is where we stay. I didn't know you would be coming into this place. And now I've seen you here twice. I didn't think
by the way, because she rolled so low, a natural one, in fact, surprise, your passive insight is high enough to tell that, you've caught her definitely off guard, and there's a bit of panic in her voice.
Max, Bree, it's just me. Come on, have a seat and I'll buy you Buy you a drink.
All right. Yeah, Bree sits down a little nervously.
Okay.
All right. Now it's at this point that
Well,
I'm going to try and cast Detect Thoughts stealthily.
you don't have to be anywhere near for that.
No, I have to be within 30 feet.
No, you have to. Oh, you mean you have to actually be within 30 feet when you cast it? Or just 30 feet to detect thoughts?
It has been some time since we cast this spell, so I will refresh my memory of it. No, it doesn't have to be at the start.
Yeah. So cast it far enough away that she won't notice.
All right,
And
stealth.
the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to her in halfling.
Okay, you're gonna speak to her in halfling.
Just because I haven't done it in a long time, and I want to try and put her at ease.
All
That
right,
way, she may think that no one can listen in on our conversation.
all right. I'm going to have you roll a performance check for that, I guess.
I can speak halfling.
No, you can speak halfling, but I'm trying to. This the performance. This is you trying to calm her. Like performance or
Okay.
persuasion, but I guess they're the same role for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you advantage because again, this is a childhood friend, and I'll hold off on my roll until we see the results of this.
So I get -1, so that's a
Yes,
16.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Bree begins to calm considerably at this point, and right,
Do I
and
see your signal?
you see me come around the corner after I finish casting the spell, and I get within 30 feet of Bree. All right,
Yeah.
1 second. I'm just going to mark off the fact that I used the scroll.
Okay.
All right, that's gone.
I'm gonna say to Bree, "Wow, I haven't seen you this nervous in forever. Is it just because your buskers are gone, or feeling a little like a fish out of water, or are these Lyrians here?" I'm gonna again. This is all in halfling.
Yeah.
Keeping you on edge that much.
She seems to regain her composure a fair bit at this point, and she says, "Well, just a little bit." She says, "But it's nice. I have money to spend as long as I don't throw around too much magic and cause any surges to happen. They seem to be fine." About says, "No, I'm." Says, "Yeah, I parted ways with the buskers for the moment." She says, "But I found some local work that's keeping me preoccupied for the moment."
Oh, cool. Anything interesting? Maybe something I can help you with. And by the way, everything that comes out of her mouth, I'm doing an insight check on.
Roll an insight check for this so far, then.
Wisdom, right?
Hmm.
15.
Sorry, what was that?
15.
15.
Oh, that's without advantage. That's just a straight roll.
Hmm. I suppose you can have advantage on this, yes.
Exact same number.
All right. Uh, Bree seems to be being honest with you as far as you can tell.
Cool.
She's yeah, she seems to be her same old self, and she seems to be calming down at this point.
Cool. So what kind of work you gotten yourself into? Something interesting? You know me, I like to have some fun.
Just as I've just been working with some locals. She says they. I'm just gonna see how she rolls here. Oh, that's bad.
Do I need to roll an insight check?
Your passive insight will be higher than this, so no.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone I know?
She says just some local just a local magic user I've been been giving some help with. Just some of the people that maybe Lyria does tends to ignore in their day-to-day pursuits.
Oh, I know quite a few magic users now. What's their name?
Needless to say, from that insight check, you notice that Bree is, Bree her entire life. She's bursting with the fact she wants to tell you something, but can't not. Something.
You can trust me. Come on. How many times have we helped each other out over the years?
And she says, it's just something really minor. It's not something that would distract you from all the important work you've been doing at the moment.
Flying through her teeth?
Yes, and poorly. She definitely wants to. At this point that she definitely wants you to help with this, but there's something that is, or someone that is basically. But you get the same feeling that she's just been probably told not to.
Okay.
That's as best you can tell from this.
Well,
the rolls are not going well.
I said, look, it's okay. It's fine. I know you probably got new friends now, and they got other things more important than old friends from the plateau. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We all grow. We all change.
Yeah.
I don't want to pressure you. Of course, everything I just said is a pressure for her.
Yes. She says, yeah. I also have to get going. She says, I've got things to do.
Okay.
There's places to go, people to see.
Minute's probably up anyway, so I give her a big hug.
Pretty close. We're getting to the point now. That point now. Yeah.
Give her a big hug and tell her to take care of herself.
Okay. Just
Not
say hello
everyone's
to Aquans for me when you see him next.
Yep. So not everyone's trustworthy like I am. Keep an eye out.
Yeah. And she heads off.
Wish her a good day.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have my owl follow her. For my
All right. Roll stealth for your owl because she's going to be keeping out lookout at this point.
16.
You think she spots your owl, but keeps going.
Okay. I'll just have my owl veer off then.
Yeah. All right.
Because I know she only can go through if she's leaving. Like she only can go along the causeway.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have my owl fly to the other end of the guardhouse. Why am I trying? She's gonna head out this way.
Yes.
I'm gonna have my owl perch on this guardhouse with instructions that when she comes to follow her again stealthily.
All right. One thing's gonna happen first. Yeah, she would do that. And all right. Can I just have you personally and myself roll perception checks? This is not your owl's help.
Oh, that's a bad number.
12, even with my new proficiency bonus. Ready to roll?
I'm not proficient in perception, so
Yeah, so
6.
You're a bit distracted. But as I come out, I say, I think I just felt a wild magic surge as I come out.
Oh, that means she's probably cast something like invisibility.
And I said, yes. She was, needless to say, quite evasive during that conversation.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Well, seeing how she was run off, don't worry, we can find her again with ease.
Yeah. Invisibility does not prevent locate creature from working.
No. So she was heading towards those outer walls.
As far as you know, she was heading away from the inner ring, which probably means, yes, she was heading back outside Lyria.
Okay. I'm going to change my thoughts then. So I'm going to do is unsummon my owl.
Yep.
Have her come back into my shoulder.
Yep.
New instructions.
This does not get any attention because this is a town with a wizard's academy.
Yeah.
Young wizards have familiars and they do this sort of thing all the time.
My instructions to her now are there's going to be an invisible person leaving. Check for any kind of disturbances in how people are interacting. And then she's going to fly back to her perch there.
All right. So while she's flying back there,
no.
We should probably finish up our conversation here.
Yes. So what'd you get over her brain?
All right. So the questions you asked, because those will shape the surface thoughts, because I didn't peer any deeper.
Yep.
she was surprised and nervous and panicking when you first showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yes. She was unexpected. It was unexpected, and she was a little worried when you first showed up initially that she might be getting in trouble, is the first thought that entered her mind.
Trouble for me?
You were able to calm her down quite sufficiently, though, quite quickly, and that caused her mind to return to just general thoughts. And then you pressed her a little bit of what's going on, and she got very nervous. Her thoughts went to trying to the fact that she's been working. She was basically growing a little tired of the buskers.
Okay.
And how they were basically, in her mind, kowtowing to Lyria's laws. She didn't see the point of that. Because we know Bree, she doesn't like authority or laws or restraint or anything like that. Yeah. She'd prefer just to have a lot of freedom to do what she wants, and she thought the buskers were going to provide that. Basically, she thought her life was going to be adventure and a party from now on, and it turns out it's going to be work instead. She wasn't exactly thrilled about that.
Yeah.
So when they left to continue on their travels, she remained behind.
True.
She's met some new friend, but not much.
Was that the girl we've seen her with?
I think it's her, yes, but her thoughts weren't very focused on that because you kept bringing her thoughts back towards what she's currently up to.
So what is she up to?
She's currently working on with a group, a small group by the sounds of it, and they seem to be up to some, well, let's just say less than legal activities at the moment. I think you are correct that she was involved in some of the other break-ins. And one of the individuals that she seems to be working with is, someone we've encountered very briefly before we left for the island. Caelynn,
So she's the ringleader?
As far as I can tell, yeah, she seems to be the one who's putting this group together. Yeah, she was the one who put that request up, the one that sent up red flags immediately. And also was at Rosemary's trying to get the helmet of teleportation commissioned.
Oh. So if Bree is involved with her and basically has a gag order from her, that is worth investigating further.
Yeah, she was hesitant to give any information to us. Probably has been told not to.
Well, yeah.
Oh. And for navigating that little social encounter so well, you can have inspiration.
Hey!
Because you played that quite well.
I'm glad to have that back.
All right. Now we should get back to your owl for the moment.
Yes. So she's going to perch unobtrusively, looking for someone invisible trying to make their way through a crowd, because there's going to be
invisible person with an cloak of elven kind, so advantage and disadvantage cancel out. Yeah.
So let's see if Bree trips on somebody.
But she does have advantage thanks to her cloak.
Yep.
Well, that's good, because one was another natural one. Bree's rolling terrible today.
Oh, that's not good. 8.
Your owl doesn't spot anything, I'm afraid.
All right. Not surprising. Invisibility is hard to come by, hard to detect through, I guess.
Yes, and the cloak
pop out.
helps as well.
Yeah, there's a whole pile of stuff going on there.
Yes, Bree is quite good, competent at stealth by this point.
Yes. She's a halfling all by herself, let alone all that stuff we've given her.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of set her up for this little life of hers. Probably should have thought of that a little bit more before we did.
Well, we just thought we were keeping her safe. The problem is, well, we admittedly don't know much about this Caelynn woman. But I think we've come to the conclusion that she's probably not up to anything legal or wholesome, just from the note that we saw.
Well, we know where her shop is.
Vaguely, it's in Market Street, yes. So we
I
could
think
find it.
time to go do some shopping.
Oh, you want to go now?
What time is it? Like, how much does this burn up?
All right, I am going to roll a d4. See how long this took. Everything we've done so far has stretched out for about 3 hours. So we have time.
We have an hour.
We have an hour before we have to be at the forge.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. We'll go after the forge.
Okay, you want to go to the forge first?
Well, I'll go have lunch. Then we'll go to the forge.
Well, we are at a cafe.
All right. Let's sit down and have something to eat.
All right.
See what I meant by, you're walking along and just
Yeah.
me.
Well, it's going to cost us for a drink and a meal for a gold piece here to eat.
A bloody expensive cafe.
Yep.
All right. I will pay for it.
Oh, okay. After which time, yes, it is basically time to go see Dane.
All right. Hopefully your augur is accurate.
Augury.
Okay.
An augur, it's fine. An augur is a person or a drill.
I hope my augur is accurate then.
Yes.
All right. In we go.
All right, so we enter the forge, and you see that as we get there, Dane is just in the middle of setting up everything up. Says, good, you came.
This is going to feel real weird taking off my 2+1 rings of protection.
He says, yes. He says, well, regardless of how this goes, your attunement to those rings will be severed.
Yeah.
He says, you will, provided this works, the new ring, which is what we will be forging here, you will have to attune to it again, all over again.
Hey, as long as it works, I'm fine with spending an hour getting to know my new ring.
Says, yes. All right, it says. So he says, off with them then. He takes out basically a
My poor rings.
all right, you take off both rings of protection, and as you do feel their protective magic leave you.
Feel naked now. I've had them for a long time.
You have had those for a long time. All right. He does have a few assistants to obviously help run the actual forge, which is it's a relatively large device. It is basically, for all purposes, it's a smith's forge, but it's a large scale version.
Yeah.
All right. And he says, and he places both the rings in what basically amounts to a smelting bowl or a crucible.
I can't watch.
You do see him take out some spell components and start casting a familiar spell. You can roll on a contract if you want to actually know what it is.
Well, I do want to know what it is, so I'm going to use a point of luck. Oh, natural 20.
All right, so we both roll high enough. This is enhanced ability, more specifically Fox's cunning, so to boost his intelligence.
All right.
So clearly he's taking this with as much seriousness as he can.
All right.
And he's also going to cast a second spell, one that we do not recognize. But you can roll it for several if you want.
Lost the natural 20 already, so another point of luck.
You're burning through points of luck on things that may not matter.
15.
15. All right. You've heard of a spell that is can be cast that is known as guidance, which basically gives a bit of an advantage on ability, a bit of a boost, a bonus on ability checks. Basically, he gets a D4 he can add to his next ability check.
Yep.
It is not normally on the wizard spell list. So
he may have. Well, I mean, we have.
He might be multi-class or any other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got tons of different things that from various feats and whatnot that I can do that I shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. All right. It says, well, let us begin. All right. So I have one portent, which is an 18.
Give it to him.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it up to you when you want me to assist him.
Yes, ask Dean. Is this a multi-step process or?
Yes, there is. So basically, this is being treated like most of our skill check challenges. So there's going to be 3 successes or 3 fails. So when do you want me to give my portent to him?
Well, it doesn't make any difference.
No. Do you want to see how he goes on his own first, or do you want me to start off with helping?
All right, fine. Let him go. We'll let him do one on his own.
Yeah. Okay. That was low.
How low?
So the total from that is 14 with everything.
Oh, that's horrible. That's a
So
fail.
that's a fail. The DC is fairly high for this. And it says,
Yeah.
He says, watch that. And he says, yeah, and you, he says, more heat. We really need to melt the metals without affecting the base enchantments here. He says,
portent for the next one for sure.
Okay. For the second check, I will give my 18 portent, which brings with his +8 modifier, it brings him up to 26, which is a success. He says, at this point, you can see things are going much more smoothly. Right? It was good. He says, all right, get the smithing tools ready. We're almost ready to move on to the next stage. You see as he casts another guidance cantrip.
Yep. So
that's
D20 plus a D4 plus 8.
Yes, 2 D20s because he gets to take the better roll.
Ah, okay.
Because he has Fox's Cunning.
Right.
Yes.
2 D20s, a D4 plus 8.
Yeah, and I've used the only assistance I can really give, I'm afraid.
What was the other number you had?
2.
Oh, I forget that.
All right. He skated by on this one.
All right.
That's our second success.
Fingers crossed for the third one.
He's rolling really low. He hasn't rolled above 10 yet. But it rolled a 4 on the D4 this time. That helped.
All right.
So, yeah, so he was adding 12 on top of the roll. All right. He says, all right. He says, bring the tools, fan the flames. He says, we're going to be molding this metal in this next step. This might be the end of it. He casts another guidance cantrip.
Right. Okay.
2 successes, 1 fail. All right. Well, the advantage doesn't mean he doesn't get the 2. Right. He says, all right. He says, we're ready for the final step now. It's a success. So the crucible is brought up and poured into a central basin, and these 2 basically hydraulic presses come together. These 2 circular things that fit together around the molten metal.
Yep.
And he begins a final incantation, the spell, and you see this shimmer from inside and the entire forge stops for a moment.
Okay.
And then they separate. And sat in the center is now a single gold ring. He takes out he takes a pair of tongs and grips it. The tongs sizzle as they touch the ring.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. It's quite hot, clearly.
Even molten gold is quite hot.
Yeah. It worked. Well, you can clearly claim that you are the first success of this experiment.
Whoa! I was on pins and needles, trust me.
And he takes the ring and puts it in water, and a lot of steam comes up at that process. He says, "Here you are, your reforged ring of protection."
Cool.
He hands it back to you. So it looks quite similar to the other two rings in the fact they're made of gold, but as opposed to each of them which had a rune carved into it which resembled a shield, this one looks like it's been double layered, almost like the two runic glyphs that resemble the shield have combined together now.
Excellent.
And you write down in your character sheet that you have the reforged ring of protection, which you will have to attune to gain its benefits from. So,
all right.
You no longer have your standard 2+1 rings of protection. You have this instead.
Excellent. I will change that to 1 + 2 ring of protection. All right. I thank him kindly. I need to go rest. That was traumatic.
Dramatic. All right, so we're not going to go investigate Caelynn then at the moment.
Not right yet. 2 things I want to do first. First, we're going to go back to our room, rest for a few minutes. Then I'm going to cast Ritual Cast Identify on the new ring.
All right, so you cast Identify. This is the Reforged Ring of Protection. So this combines the protective magic of both rings. So it counts as +2 to armor class and +2 to all saving throws.
Excellent.
It requires attunement. However, the ring has now evolved. It has gained charges in addition to it that it did not possess before. It has 3 of them.
Yep.
And as a reaction, when you would be hit with an attack, you can spend a charge to cast the shield spell now.
Bonus.
Each casting takes 1 charge, and the ring regains 1d3 charges at dawn. Also, you sense that your ring has potential to grow further now. Something has altered its enchantment in this forging process. Something we've only seen in a magic item once before.
Yes, your grimoire.
Yes, so it seems you now also have an object of potential.
Cool. We will have to see what happens to that as time goes by.
Yes, and you will have to reattune to the ring.
Yes.
However, you now have a free attunement slot.
Yeah. Well, I do have a ring of spell storing.
So you could take 2 hours and attune to both rings if you want.
How long did that process take for the forging of the ring?
We'll say it probably took about an hour. So we're into the afternoon.
Basically, shops will still be open after 2 more hours go by.
You suspect so, yes.
All right, so I'll do that then. Because that way, I don't want to go anywhere without my ring of protection. Like I said, I felt naked without it.
Yes. Well, the good news is, after you attune to the ring, your armor class is back to where it was, as are your saving throw bonuses.
Yes. Like I said, I've been relying on those a lot.
Yes, you have.
All right, once that's all done, let's go and visit Caelynn.
All right. As we come down, it says Cathra Frostbeard, the matron who runs the Crested Kingfisher Inn, says, Jonas, Aquans, says, there's a messenger here for you from the council chambers. From the council, says, apparently your presence is requested as soon as possible.
Oh, all right, off we go.
All right, so slight detour then.
Slight detour.
All right, so we head into the inner city yet again. So we're heading towards the only building which we really didn't thoroughly explore last time, which is the council building.
We've been in here before though.
We have, but we haven't really had a detailed tour. We basically toured the academy, and we went by this place and the Knights Barracks.
Yes.
All right, so we're seeing into the council audience chamber.
Right.
And we immediately recognize a few people in here.
All right.
The first person we recognize is Aldrich, who is stood off to the side. and he is there with 2 additional White Knights of Lyria.
I wave to him. Hey, Albert.
He nods to us and says, you can tell the fact that based on his face that there's something that needs something is grim is happening.
Interesting.
The other 2 White Knights, one is a young human woman, and the other is a gold-scaled dragonborn.
Cool.
The other individual we recognize is the Archmage Master Amadeus Malzra.
Hello.
He also nods to us. He's a bit more pleased to see us, but his tone is also somber.
Okay.
And there are a number of individuals we recognize who are probably, which we do not recognize, but who are probably on the council with Lyria itself.
Well, I assume they would have been there when we signed up to do that Isle of Fog quest. They probably were seated there. We don't know them personally.
Yes, we don't know them personally.
No. Okay.
Says one of them says, good. Our valiant protectors are here.
I don't laugh.
Yeah. You can roll an insight check if you want.
15.
That's quite low. All right, I don't roll high enough, but you detect it. There is no sarcasm in this person's voice, but there is almost genuine. They're genuinely pleased to see that we are here.
And who is this?
Some member of the council. You don't really know their name.
Well, what do they look like? How's
that? Human, middle-aged man.
All right, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I recognize them as being present there last time.
Possibly.
All right.
Your memory for bureaucrats is not good.
No, they all just blend in.
No. Malzra speaks to us and says, I know you know Aldrich of the White Knights. It says, the other 2 here says are one of his fellow officers, Thalia, says, and this is Commander Timaeus, the commander of the White Knights.
Excellent.
It indicates the Dragonborn.
Yep.
It says, a matter of great urgency has arisen in the last few hours, and says, I requested you be present for this. Says, as this might bear on recent events.
All right. What's up?
All right. Timaeus, the commander of the White Knights, steps forward. He says, but about an hour ago, we discovered this, and he holds up basically a scroll case that is open, and there seems to be a message, a roll of paper inside. It says, a courier was discovered with this message. It says, attempting to plant it in the council chambers discreetly. They were apprehended.
Someone was trying to plant this in the council chambers.
Yes.
Okay. What does it say?
It says, it takes out the letter, it says, it is a list of names of high-ranking individuals in Lyria, it says, who are apparently being targeted for assassination.
Seriously?
It says yes. Several members of the council, says myself, and Master Malzra's names are all on this list.
Okay.
However, what is more concerning to us is that brings some level of severity to this threat is the seal enclosed on this scroll case that indicates what group is currently plotting this assassination attempt.
Okay. You know of them?
Indeed, says, and as do you.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
He hands you the empty scroll case, which has a seal on it.
Do I recognize the seal?
You see a hand in gold ink with a star, 7-pointed star inscribed on it. The seal of the Court of the Seven.
Yeah. Know these people.
It says, yes, it says, Aldrich has mentioned that you have clashed with them before. It says, and at Malzra's insistence, we brought you here. It says, It cannot escape anyone's notice that our defenses at the moment have decreased considerably since the expedition to the Isle of Fog, which resulted in many of our academics, wizards, and even some of our knights to go there in security.
Yep.
Recalling them will take considerable time.
Yeah, mostly because they probably don't want to come back.
It says, Mauser says, I could aid with that, but even so, it still takes several days to recall everyone. Recalling a few key personnel might be a wiser decision. It says, you see that he's definitely in thought about something.
Well, we've dealt with the Court of the Seven many times.
Mhm.
And anything that you want to do regarding their...
I speak up at this point and I say, does this not strike anyone else as a bit convenient?
In the sense that, timing-wise, you mean?
Yes. I say,
As in, this could just be a big distraction away from something else.
it says, I just say, it's just striking me as odd. Urix has occasionally managed to pull off some surgical strikes, admittedly, but we've never seen, and they've done some pretty despicable things that caused some destruction. But an assassination attempt in their chief enemy's city, does at top-ranking individuals, and two highly trained and individuals capable of defending themselves, that would take a considerable force. It would be easier to plan an invasion than an assassination attempt in Lyria, I suspect.
Well, Shadow Court could pull it off.
And it's just the timing. It says this is the fact that all this is happening. It says in addition to everything else that's happening at the moment, when everyone's gone off to the Isle of Fog, it says something doesn't sit right about this.
Well, I say to the commander, the individual that you caught, do they know anything?
He says the individual was, he says, slain in the attempt to apprehend them.
Oh, well. Well, you got priests here. Can someone speak with dead with this individual?
It says there's a few murmurs, and it says one of the counselors says perhaps it would be good to petition someone to come in and deal with this. And it says, there's control here. You hear Tobias say, as we usually don't, in the White Knights, encourage this sort of thing, and we don't usually accept the testimony of spirits. Master Mauser says, however, it is given the severity of these events, it might be wise to send for someone. Says, just for us to make sure.
They may not know anything, but it seems simple enough. I mean, I understand one's distaste for necromancy, but
it says the counselor to a nearby messenger says, send word to the Temple of Anubis that one of their clerics is called for to perform services.
Yep.
And that courier heads off. Says the temple oversees all funeral rites and all matters dealing with the dead in the city.
Okay, while we're all here and we're all waiting for this individual,
yes,
there's something else that would, well, it never rains, it pours. Something else I'd like to bring to your attention, or I should say there is something up. Someone is planning something. We think it's a heist. We're kind of, well, we were in the process of, investigating it to let you know if it's anything serious or if it's actually a real thing, imminent, and all that sort of stuff. But this might be a part of their plan, a distraction? You may be aware that there's been some robberies lately.
And it says, Aldrich, who just went, says, yes, there's been a string of them at the moment.
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with that, but we don't know. We were, like I said, we're just going to head off right when you sent for us. So we're going to go investigate this more. But anyway, just to let you know that there's something going on. As soon as we know anything, we'll definitely let you know.
I'm just in this entire time I've just been examining this scroll case. And I say, can I? It says, Jonas, can I see one of the many emblems you have of the court?
Okay, I pull out my helmet full of emblems.
I take one. I'm just going to compare the two.
All right.
Notice something. It says,
I have a 23 on my investigation check of what you're looking for.
all right. I don't seem to make headway on this, unfortunately. But you start to, when you're looking at, there's like I said, it's hard to tell, and you start to realize the seal looks, well, assuming these the emblems are like a signet ring or anything like that, and they can be used for the same purposes of forming these seals.
Yeah.
The seal in this one looks warped by comparison.
So bad copy.
No, good copy.
Oh, but not.
But not infallible.
So I'm going to compare it. I'm going to pull out all 8 that I have, mostly
Yes.
just to show off. And I'm going to compare it to each of them. All the 8 are the same.
All 8 are the same, yes. Clearly that a great deal of work goes into making this crest for the court.
And this one is a forgery.
Is just a little off.
I say
just enough. With a 23, you can tell.
Say to Malzra, it's a fake. I put all my others back, by the way.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a forgery.
And I say, a highly detailed and skilled forgery, but a forgery nonetheless.
So someone who is familiar with the court and enough to make a copy made this.
It's this point that the doors to the council audience chambers open. And the messenger enters and says, the high priest of Anubis. And steps aside.
Oh, good God, the big boss is here.
And everyone's a little surprised at it. And entering a dark-skinned man who's basically, despite the fact this is winter, is shirtless and wearing basically just short pants and basically of a ceremonial type, basically almost like a ceremonial, well, not kilt, but kind of like the leggings which a priest of Anubis would wear, and the headdress which resembles a jackal's head.
Yeah.
Enters. He has a holy symbol around his neck, which has the head of Anubis and the scales, which designates his fate. And he's walking with a familiar-looking staff. We've been encountered once before in a cleric. A metal staff which has a scale at the top. We've seen one cleric wear such a staff before. Behind him are four priests or clerics, which are bearing on basically a stretcher for all intents and purposes, a dead body.
Okay. I take it we're doing that here.
Yes. The council has requested that we make good on our bargain, the priest said.
Okay. Interesting wording.
It says, place the deceased here. And he reaches into a bag at his side and pulls out what appears to be some incense, which he starts scattering in a circle around the body. It says, let's just see here. Well, all three of the White Knights present are clearly not pleased with these turn of events, but they're all keeping a straight face because this is hopefully going to confirm something or not.
Yes.
All right. Once the body is inside the circle of incense, the priest begins a chant, and the incense bursts into a ring of green fire, and the body intakes breath for the first time and starts to float up in the circle, and its mouth starts to move. It says, "Why have you brought me back from beyond the veil of death?" And the priest says, "I shall." It says, I shall interpret all questions to the body, but what exactly am I to ask? So, as far as you know, with the Speak Dead spell, we can ask 5 questions.
Yep.
The corpse is under absolutely no obligation to trust us or like us or anything. I don't think the corpse can lie. I think the spell does specify that.
Otherwise, they're completely useless otherwise.
But the questions can be vague. I'm just going to bring up Speak with Dead because we don't use it very often.
We don't use it at all.
No, this is the first time. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer truthful answers if you are hostile to it or you recognize you as an enemy.
Well, the priest won't be hostile.
The high priest is the one who's doing this spell, so
yeah, so he's not hostile.
Yeah.
This may not be helpful at all.
Possibly. So, what questions are we going to ask?
Oh, is this up to me?
Well, it's up to everyone here. Does anyone have any questions to ask?
Well, obviously, we want to verify whether or not this individual works for the Court of the Seven.
All right. The cleric says, "Do you serve the Court of the Seven?" No, is the answer. It is just barely above a whisper.
Who hired you?
And it says, all right, it says, a few moments pass and says, "Kipper, a local thief."
All right, so this is probably hooked up to that job that we're looking into then.
Yeah.
So
No questions down.
Yeah.
It says, Tamai speaks up and says, "What was your purpose?" And unfortunately, the open-ended question gets the response of, "To place the scroll here." The cleric says, "That question was a little too open." It says, the spirit can be evasive if it chooses to.
All right, I'm going to ask one question. I'll leave one.
Yep.
This scroll was intended as a distraction, wasn't it?
There's any real limits on the nature of the questions you can ask.
You may not know.
It's usually brief, cryptic. Yeah, that's not this. Yes, it was. One more question if anyone has anything. I'm gonna see if they have anything.
I have one.
All right.
This involves the timing. Was your job rushed? Like, was this job something that needed to be done right away?
As soon as possible. As the last question is answered, the green flames die down and the air escapes the corpse and just floats back to the ground. The ritual complete.
Right.
The high priest says, "That is all we will get out of it. The spell will not function again for 10 days.
Okay.
It says, with your permission, we will return this individual back to our temple for internment."
After they leave,
Yes.
I'm going to say to Malzra, Yeah, this is tied into what we're looking for, I'm sure. And now we know it is very imminent. Someone is
Yes.
planning a heist and wants you distracted thoroughly.
Yes. This. Well, we will not be distracted. However, we are still fairly understaffed.
I suggest, just for the sake of it, and hopefully as a distraction as well for them, or a confirmation for them, send out unimportant orders because you want to restock the population here anyway. Just say just go with the story, the cover story of imminent possibilities of assassination attempts at high-ranking people. And then put the word out, get people back. Just go about those as if that were true, as if it worked for them, because that may lull whoever's doing this heist into being a little less careful.
Well,
And then we have a lead that we'd like to follow up. What time of day is it now?
we're into the afternoon, so we're probably approaching 4 in the afternoon, which means
What time does shops usually close in this place?
they usually stay open. But the other problem is if you're correct, this is a heist. Sunset is about an hour and a half off at this point, given the time of the year,
Yeah,
which might
even that
mean that's the most likely. After that, they'll probably be proceeding with their plan, possibly.
might be tonight,
It's
might
possible.
be tomorrow night. Yeah, we don't know.
We do not know.
All right. Um, where can we get in touch with you, Aldrich, and you, Archmage? Because we should really expedite our investigation.
The Archmage says, I will be most likely heading to the Isle of Fog to bring back as many key individuals as we can to go along with this. It says, but I will also leave word at the academy if you need me. Says Aldrich says, I'll be staying here in the barracks to coordinate with everyone else.
All right. We will be as swift as possible.
All right. So with that, the meeting is adjourned and we leave.
We leave as soon as we get outside the door.
Yeah.
Time to fly.
Literally. All right. So we get the brooms out.
Yep. We're gonna fly to, well, roughly about here.
All right. So just where the outside the gates, past the causeway.
Yeah, land, and then we need to go find Caelynn's shop. Unfortunately, you do not have detect thoughts anymore.
No, we spent it.
Yep. Just on a whim, could you cast locate creature, please?
All right, casting a 4th level spell on a whim.
Yeah, that's all. You don't have to. You don't want to.
What are we looking for?
Bree.
All right, I will cast locate creature. I'll take out the forked twig, which I've now wrapped now tied the bloodhound fur to.
Yep.
So we can use it for both spells as a component. All right, and I will cast locate creature. All right, Bree. That doesn't count. Where are you at this point? All right, my spell locates her.
Okay.
It is indicating that along the road heading towards the upper part of the map. So technically that's the south because the view is inverted. Sorry, flipped.
Yep. All right. That's as far as we know, Caelynn's shop could be in that direction.
We know it's on Market Street. Market Street is near the market, so we think where this is leading away from there.
We don't have time. Split the party.
Okay.
You follow Bree.
Yep.
And I'll head towards Caelynn's shop.
All right then.
All right. So I head down Market Street, get my owl out because I'll need all the help I can get to find it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna look for Caelynn's shop.
All right. So I'm going to ask for an investigation check, which is basically you going to be asking around and looking for her shop.
Yep.
See how long this takes.
17.
All right, it doesn't take you too long to find directions to her shop.
So whereabouts is it roughly? So this is Market Street.
So it's basically, if you keep going down past the windmill there.
Yep.
That first building right there. That one.
Yep.
That's her store.
All right. I wander in.
All right, so you go up to the door. It is locked.
Yep. I knock.
There is a sign on it that says that the store is closed.
I have a look through the window. Is there any light on inside?
There does not seem to be.
All right. I might be missing the boat here, but I think I do not know detect magic.
Oh, I do. And you sent me off.
I sent you off.
At least you have the chime if you want to go in here.
I am going to. Is there anybody in the streets? This is getting near dark.
You can roll a perception check if you want. With your owl's assistance.
10.
There's a few people going by. Sunset isn't far off, so a lot of people are probably returning home for the evening. Unless anyone has important business.
I am going to, as stealthily as possible, swing around the building, see if there's a back door.
There is not.
There's only one way into this building.
It would seem so.
All right. While I'm hidden, I will take out the chime of opening and just stick it in the pocket for the moment.
Okay.
And then I'll go around the front again.
I would like you to roll a stealth check.
Come on, die. Don't defend, fall down. Oh, it's a 2 plus 5.
You want to use any luck?
I only have 1 point left. I might need it.
All right. So needless to say, quite a few people look over and see you kind of just
wandering
around, crouch walking, basically.
I'm not crouch walking. This is not a video game where you actually have to maintain a specific pose when you're trying to be quiet.
However, I was just trying to interpret your low roll.
Yeah. So,
needless to say, there's a few people who this draws the eyes of, and they recognize you, and they basically go about their business at this point. So you were spotted.
Yeah.
Whatever that's going to mean. You were also recognized clearly from that, so.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, it could be a problem later on. If I'm right, it doesn't matter.
All right. So, what are you going to do?
I wait till people aren't paying attention to me.
They seem to have lost interest relatively quickly.
They got the channel opening, tap it, and unlock the door.
All right, you take the tuning fork, knock it against the side of the wall, point it at the lock. It makes a humming noise, and you hear the lock click.
All right. Open the door.
All right, the door opens. We can move ahead to the next image. Just one. All right, so you're entering in here, and this is relatively similar to other magic shops you've seen, though this one seems a bit sparser.
Seems to have a few things here.
Yeah. there's only a few shelves,
Right.
and near as you can tell just by looking around, it seems to almost be like a general store level for a variety of magical and occult paraphernalia.
All right. I'm not really interested in any of that anyway. Not at the moment.
Mhm.
So I have had a great deal of experience recently with glyphs of warding. Mostly because I got blown up like twice.
Yes.
I am going to investigate as I step forward, looking for them, and also possibly alarm spells, which I suspect would have already gone off
All right.
if there
You
was
can
more.
roll. This has to be investigation if we're looking for the glyphs because it
Yeah.
specifies that in the spell.
Uh, good God, I'll roll above 10 at some point. 14.
All right. You're looking about as you're making your way through the store and towards the basically the front desk area there. You do not
Yep.
see any glyphs.
Oh, yeah,
You also don't have to worry about any imminent explosions, which makes you think you didn't trigger any of them.
Well, I didn't get blown up. That's true.
Yes.
I do have a scroll of dark vision.
Oh, yes. It
You
is
pick
dark
that
in
up.
here, by the way. There are
Yeah.
candles along the basically the counter there, but they are not lit.
Are there window blinds? Is this place?
Their windows has blinds and they are drawn.
I will cast light on my staff.
All right, you cast light on your staff. You can now see much brighter as your light counter fills most of this front room.
All right, I'm gonna
Behind the counter, there is a space that heads further in. You suspect the back room and the second floor, which you saw from outside, which is presumably where her apartment is.
As possible, I'm going to, while keeping an eye out for glyphs, I'm gonna hop over the counter and head to possibly what might look like an office for her.
All right, so you're heading into the back room. I'll let you make a separate investigation check for this area.
Can't. Could roll less than 7. It's easy. I did. I rolled a 6, so we're down to 13.
All right. So you look around, you stumble about.
Well, I'm not tripping. 13 is still pretty good.
No. You don't find any glyphs?
I don't blow up.
No.
No alarms go off.
No audible ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be a silent one. You set them up all the time.
Yes.
But I'm on a time crunch here at this point.
All right. So this is a back room area, which does look a bit like a cross between an office and basically just like a business area where she keeps her records.
Okay. I forgot to say this, so I'll hop back over and go to the front door and lock it.
All right, easy enough to do.
Go back into the office.
All right, you go back into the back room.
Yep. I'm gonna have my owl perched on the roof. Keep an eye out for someone rushing to her her place of business as it's been broken into.
All right, I'll have you roll your perception check for your owl now before we proceed.
18.
All right. Nothing seems untoward. Nothing untoward seems to be happening at the moment.
All right.
So no one's rushing towards the store as of this moment.
I am going to search her office, looking for some form of either a safe, someplace where she would keep in a locked drawer, maybe, something indicating her what plans she might be up to.
All right. You do not have my assistance here, but you do have a magic item that might be able to help you with this.
Yeah, I'll use
your glasses of minute seeing.
Yes.
All right, so you put those on.
Yep.
Roll your investigation check at advantage.
Well, a 1 and a 3. So that would be 10. This is just sad. All right, no, this is important. I'm going to burn a point of luck here because
All right, roll again.
I can't roll less than 3, I don't think. 16.
16. You do locate a safe.
All right. So all my
You
luck is
also locate a bookshelf, which seems to have drag marks underneath it.
Ooh. All right, ignore the safe for the moment. I will see if I can open the secret door.
All right. I'm going to allow you to make a separate investigation check to locate the mechanism for triggering the secret door.
A 2 and a 9. So that's 16 again.
All right, that's enough. You find a familiar book style latch that you pull down.
Oh, one of those really hard to find ones.
Yes. Hey, it's a pretty it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It's well hidden.
All right.
The door, the bookshelf slides back and then goes to the side. There is a staircase heading down.
All right. This is going to really require me to keep my eyes open. I'll just investigate the whole way down with my glasses on.
All right. So roll your investigation check and tell me the result before we head down to the next.
Oh, finally, 21.
Okay, 21. So I would like you to move ahead to the next image as you head down. Should be the next.
This?
Yes, this.
Okay. That looks like torture implements, lots of blood, skeletons, and some kind of altar with. This is not a nice lady.
No. So as you head down, the first thing you notice as you pass down through the base of the staircase goes down and your head goes below it, you feel this curtain of energy pass by as you go down. And then the stench of death and decay hits your nose like a tidal wave. So that's the first thing you notice as you come down here, and the smell of blood. And then you see this basement chamber, which was a basement at some point, which has now been set up as... I mean, yeah, it's a torture chamber, isn't it? That is a rack.
Yep.
That's a bed of nails, and there's a Catherine wheel there, and there are several skeletons strapped to the walls. Oh, and there's the altar.
An altar to some demon. All right.
There's also a mirror on the altar.
I turn around and head back upstairs.
No, thank you.
Well, it's unlikely she's going to have any kind of record keeping down here.
You feel that curtain of energy again as you go past.
So no more stench.
Yes.
I close the bookcase, go to the safe.
Shudder as you do so, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to tap the chime and unlock the safe.
All right, so mark off another charge. The safe whirs and clicks and opens.
Yep. And then I'm going to pop into my owl senses for a second, make sure no one's running here.
Yep. You can roll a perception check.
Ooh, nat 20.
Natural 20. All right, then. I'm going to need to make a few rolls here.
All right.
I mean, you rolled a natural 20, so I don't really... So the odds were not in their favor. Actually, I'm just going to... 1 second. Okay. You're in the distance, your owl spots with its night vision and its visual acuity operating at full at the moment.
Apparently.
Yes. 4 individuals attempting to be stealthy.
Heading this way?
Well, they're heading down the road that I headed up to look for Bree. You do recognize Bree among them.
So 4 people are heading my way.
They're not heading directly towards you. They're heading along the path where the 2 roads meet up where they go into the causeway.
Now, if they're heading my way, how long do I figure before they're going to get here?
They're going at a slow and stealthy pace, despite the fact that none of them rolled really well. You'd have a few minutes at the very least. Probably closer to that. It's probably based on the distance, you probably have somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Okay. Oh, and you also spot me. Following them at a distance, also not being relatively stealthy, but they don't notice me yet.
All right.
You also notice that Caelynn is with them.
All right.
The other 2 appear to be a hobgoblin and a gnome. But you don't recognize either of them.
Okay.
But you rolled really high. Yeah. And they rolled really poorly.
All right. I have a minute or 2 of privacy here. So what I'm going to do, pull out anything in this safe that may look like it could be like a journal or a map, something they're going to use to coordinate this heist.
There are several, basically, bags of coins and a few other locked boxes, strong boxes, which are clearly containing, and strong boxes, which could contain either notes or more money. Okay. And there are some ledgers and some notes.
All right, take out the ledger. No, notes. Ledger is probably just business crap. Have a quick look through them. Is anything indicating any kind of anything?
You can roll an investigation check with advantage thanks to your glasses.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess there's a natural 1 at least.
Yep.
24.
24. Most of this seems to be business-related things. You see a few notes indicating that paying for a few services of individuals. You do notice that Bree's name shows up occasionally.
Yeah.
And she's clearly been being paid by Caelynn to do something, do some snooping, you suspect.
Well, I already knew that when she was coming up the street with her.
Yeah. There's nothing of note really in the safe, you think.
All right. I put everything back to where I saw it.
Yeah.
Close the safe, spin the dial so that it's locked.
It locks.
Don't have any time.
You have a choice now.
I could stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Funny when you're planning spells for the day.
Yep.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out right.
Nope.
I have a scroll, but I don't want to use that. All right. I am going to burn a 4th level spell slot.
Oh, what are you doing?
I am casting polymorph on myself.
All right, then.
Not a giant ape.
Okay. I was waiting. You have a fondness for that form.
Yeah, it's very useful, but not this time. I am going to turn myself into a small bat, flying bat, and hang upside down in the rafters.
All right, so you turn yourself into a bat.
And I'm going to fly up into the rafters, not in this disgusting place.
Yep.
In this place.
All right. Actually, if you don't mind, can you go back one further to the actual map of Lyria?
Oh, all right.
Because, all right. So,
I am currently here.
There. You're currently there. You can still pop into your owl's senses, I think.
That'd be freaky when you're a bat. That's okay. I will do so.
Yes.
I have blind sight now. So
You have blind sight, yes. And do bats have dark vision? No, they have blind sight instead, right?
yeah, blind sight's better than dark vision.
Yeah. All right. So your owl, I'm just going to continue off the previous roll because it's fine.
Okay.
The four of them have reached the crossroads.
Yeah.
Right
So
here.
they're here.
Yeah. And they seem to be turning in towards the causeway and heading in.
They're going this way.
Yes, they're going away from you. You also still spot me, and I'm at a distance keeping an eye on things, and I seem to be
Agitated.
I seem to be coming to between a decision of whether or not to follow them, and I look down towards you are, and you see me start heading towards Caelynn's shop.
All right. I have my owl pop out of existence. I
Yeah.
fly up the chimney and fly to you.
All right. I'm just going to have both of us roll dexterity checks to see which one of us gets there first.
What's the dex mod on a bat?
Oh. I know this is a form you don't take normally.
No, it's usually big and furry and mad.
+2, and you have fly speed of 30 feet, so yeah, our speeds are the same.
I have an 18.
I have a 7, so yeah, you beat me there.
All right, I'm gonna flap up and down in front of you wildly.
All right.
Gesticulating. Non-bat behavior.
I say,
Oh, just
Jonas, is that you?
I nod. And then I take off towards them. I follow them.
All right, so you're following them.
Yep.
All right, I said, it looks like we're doing this, and I pursue. And I think now is a good time for us to take our break.
I wasn't expecting this to happen tonight.
Numbers rolled in the favor for it. Oh well.
I would have picked slightly different spells.